All right, let's get started. Still can't come up with a way to start this off. But here's the question for today. Would we survive Utopia? So I started thinking about this a little while ago because I've been thinking about how so many people throughout history have imagined this world where everyone's in harmony, everyone gets along, and we're just great human beings. And yet, no matter how many times people come up with these philosophies, these theories, these even plans to create such a society, they always collapse under humans being human. And so I wondered, would it make sense to just assume that this is something we can't pull off? Or is it the idea that we could pull it off, but we just don't want to? And I'm not really sure if it's either one, but it's worth entertaining. So I started coming up with the question, would we survive Utopia? Because I was on a podcast earlier today and someone asked me if I thought that there was ever hope for humanity to reach its highest potential. And I said, yes, I 100% know that one day we'll reach our highest potential. I just don't know how many people will survive to get to that point, meaning that maybe our society will have to hit like a global rock bottom, and only the people who are left over who remember and have the history of everything that we've put ourselves through, plus hopefully the AI and other technology that will remind us of how silly we've been for thousands and thousands or millions of years or however long it's been, that if we can integrate all that information, then with the people that we have left over, we can build a better society, possibly. And then I talked about Buckminster Fuller and his teachings and how he thought that we could have pulled this off back in 1989, and Richard Flyer's symbiotic age work that is new but incorporates all these different possibilities of being able to build deeper communities through basically underlying the teachings of Jesus and some other philosophies. So I do think that it's possible. I think that people will continue to think about it, and then people will also continue to resist it. Another part that made me wonder if we'd ever survive Utopia is I can only imagine that most people won't know what to do with their life if they don't have drama. Because in my life, I try to be as have as little as possible, but I don't think that that's a way that people kind of are able to kind of live, because even if you try to make a show or movie or something like that, if you don't have that element, then people will be bored. And so I started to think maybe that's just not how humans are designed. Humans need narrative, they need story, they need adventure, they need excitement. And because they need those things, then they will inherently have some drama embedded into what it is that they, whatever it is that they do, that they will inherently create drama. Even if they had the opportunity not to have drama, they would still create it anyway, because that's something that humans just tend to need in order to maybe fill the passage of time. They don't want to be bored. I'm not sure what it is. I just know that that is a tendency that we have. Even recently, I made a brief video about how, I guess I would say, disappointed I am in the men that participated in that group that we call the, they call it the Grape Academy, not grape, but you know what I mean. And I wrote about how disappointed I was that men participated in this. And then a man wrote back to me and he said, SYBAW. And if you're not familiar with that kind of terminology, he was basically saying, shut your bitch ass up. And I wasn't sure why he was telling me to shut my bitch ass up, because all I said I thought it was horrible that these men created these things where they drugged their wives, recorded their wives, and then let other guys watch it. That's horrible. But this guy told me, shut your bitch ass up. So I can only imagine that either he didn't understand the context of the video I was making, or he approved of those guys, or maybe he so blindly thought that he had to defend men that anybody who was critical of men must be a BAMF, which is a bitch ass, you can fill in the blank. Whatever it is, that's what the guy thought. Why? I don't know. Because all I was saying was, hey, man, let's not be like this. Let's create more harmonious societies. Let's figure out how to get our crap together. Let's stop allowing the fear of death, which pretty much is running 90% of everything that's happening in the world, period. Stop allowing that to control us and to get us out of our survival instincts that we seem to be stuck in no matter what, and to just live more fully and not constantly be living from a place of the fear of loss, fear of death, of seeing threats where there are not threats, and just try to build a society built around the mutual well being of all humans, and that people can actually build systems, relationships, and communities around each other's mutual well being. That we would want the best for each other, desire the best for each other across all of our differences, and allow ourselves to grow more fully into who we're capable of being. But this guy said, shut your bitch ass up. So I think that there must be some thing inherent in humans, or at least in a lot of us, where we cannot allow there to be a greater system of flourishing, of mutuality. And if we ever achieved it, there's a chance that at least one of us will come up with some kind of selfish way of looking at the world, and then they will infect the others, and then next thing you know, we got what we got going on right now. So there, I'm not sure if there's any way of overcoming it. I think it's a question to live with. I think it's a question to be curious about, and to, from at least from my own perspective, live in the wonder of whether it's possible for us humans to make better choices and to live more fully and live more wholly and not be stuck in our survival instincts. But obviously, I'm not going to live to see that because that's not happening anytime soon, even if aliens come. So I had to just live with that question and then work on myself to make changes within myself, that I don't operate from those paradigms, or if I catch myself operating from those paradigms, to calm my nervous system down, get away from whatever is enabling me or getting me to operate from that paradigm until I get back to my right mind, and then only take actions from my right mind. And unfortunately, a lot of people also don't have that discipline, because many of us just don't know how to wait. And waiting is a part of the process. And just like if you try to bake a cake, you can put all the ingredients, you stick in the oven. You still, the biggest ingredient is waiting, is time, is allowing the time to pass so that the thing can grow and become whatever it's going to become. Most of us won't contribute to things unless we can see the fullness of its expression in our lifetime so that we can enjoy it. So our own selfishness will keep us from actually ever realizing that for most people. So I think it's going to take a few people who are willing to contribute who they are and the fullness of who they are to the possibility of there being such a world where we are living from harmony, while also knowing that they're never going to actually see it. But at least maybe by living from that possibility and living into that question, they may experience it in small moments in their own lives, but not be stuck or attached to seeing that realization spread across time and all of humanity. Because that's just a waste of life at this point, at least for mine. I'm already 50. So unless there's a huge miracle, I don't think I'm going to see that ever happen. So that means that all I can do is work from that place and build a sense of utopia within myself, and try my best to live from that, and try my best to invite people into that. And if they don't take that invitation, respect their differences and allow them to be however they choose to be. That's pretty much the best I can do. I don't know if I could do better than that. So, closing with this question, will we or can we survive utopia? In my experience, probably not. I just never have experienced anybody since I've been alive for the 50 years and however long I've been conscious. I've never seen it. I've never seen a person try. I mean, I've seen people almost try, but I've never seen anybody actually try to live a life that is drama free. And even if a person's trying to live drama free, the drama people will chase them down and make them participate. So that's been my experience. I don't really know. Hopefully, if this video lasts some years from now, maybe somebody will find it in a broken down bomb shelter and they'll say, "Hey, this guy asked this question bunch of years ago." Who knows? It hasn't been my experience, but I do know that we can create pockets of it if we make the choices to make those changes within ourselves. And maybe more of us will be attracted to each other, and we'll find each other, and we'll be able to build clusters or islands of sanity where it does exist, at least temporarily, to give us a sense of fulfillment in our lives. And in the meantime, we'll just keep working at it. Don't know. I am working on some more things that will help us unpack this tendency to live from survival instinct so much. And maybe through that, we'll have some kind of engagement. And maybe I'll make some Zoom calls or something like that. I'm not sure, but some way of kind of making a community of this question. And then maybe having these temporary respites where we live into it from time to time. I'm thinking about a bunch of other things now that I'm kind of accepting that in this lifetime, I'm not going to witness it on any grand scale. So thanks for everyone who participates, engages, and shares. Hopefully, this informs you and adds something to your life. And I will get back to being creative. So thanks. Peace.